Hi guys and welcome. Today I'm talking about my laser cutter and how it helps me in the workshop. Now I can use the laser cutter for many things. In the past I've made it for things like signs like you see back here. I've also made things like my Allen key holder for my tool wall, so easily just put them on the wall like this. But today I'm covering the topic where I'm using my laser cutter to assist me with woodworking. So things like making these vise packers to help with the racking on the vise. I've got various other items that I use to help me along the journey of woodworking to make better items and be more proficient in the workplace. So without further ado, let's jump into the video and I'll show you the 10 laser cut items that I've made that help me in my workshop. First item on the list is the push stick. We all know this is an essential piece of kit on the table saw. These obviously then are available on a file that I can cut out whenever I want. It's just two layers stuck together. I can make them wider or to whatever I need to suit with blocks in between if I need a wider hole down and that sort of thing. Easy to modify, and when they wear out, just make more. Item number 2 on the list is this. This is my laser cut centre finder for finding centres of circles. So I do quite a bit of wood turning. So if I'm trying to find the centre of this, it's quite easy to then use this on here. You can then mark one line that way, carry on turning it, another line, and that'll be the centre where I can mount my face plate to secure it and make sure it's all in the right place. Item number 3 on the list is my little angle finding gauge. Sometimes I have to grind things to an unknown angle, and I just use this quick little jig to find the angles of things that I need to grind. Small and convenient to have just round near my grinding station to set things up. Item number 4 on the list is I am not that great at freehand sketching, I'll be honest with you, and I use these French curves to help me draw what I want on things like boards or anything that was like a freehand or shaped. These are really great little templates for you to easily draw, especially when you're not as proficient as what I am, when it looks like I've drank 10 pints and tried to draw a straight line. So these are great little item. So I'll show you me using them to start the shape of the handle that I want to put on this board. Item number 5 on the list, this simple little circle drawing jig. It's got a bearing pressed in one end. I've got the radiuses marked all the way along so that I've got some presets. Instead of having say a compass that can float around and move, this is great for making large circles or large radiuses on the edge of items. So I'll show you again what I use it for. Item number 6 on the list is my vice packer. Now, I've then customized this to have additional features on it. I've got some imperial radiuses, or you could call it a radius gauge for marking or checking radiuses. I've also then got metric ones, so you can easily use these for marking up or checking. I've also then got, moving around, the two chamfers. I've got 5mm and a 10mm chamfer. And then to complete the rest, I have added in a few others just for convenience for me, which is drill gauges. So when I'm grinding drills to angles, I can check the angle of the drill and whether it's been ground correctly. I can also then check that the points are equal to ensure that it's going to have a good cut to the drill bit. So these, for now on this project, I'm just going to use the 7/8 as a marking gauge, so I can use this on the corners here and mark it out. So the other part of this, obviously, as I said, was a vice packer. It's just for when if I'm holding material in one end. Obviously, when I tighten that, this gap closes up and doesn't clamp correctly. Obviously, work out thickness of the wood, pop the packer in here. It sits on top of the vice. Easily done. Pop that in this end. Away you go, nice and secure, ready for me to carve and shape with a saw or any other work that I need to do. So here we go. So yeah, it's a collection of items that help me with marking out on my drawings. So recap them. I've got this with my radius gauges. Also got my preset sizes for drawing radius and circles, for when I want to freehand curves that just to help me so that I'm not shaking all over the place. These are great, and great little set to help me mark out and draw what I want on a piece of timber that I'm going to cut out. Item number 7 on the list is a conversion chart. Now, as I've got older and the more woodworking I'm doing, my memory is not what it used to be. So I've got this up for reference. It's far easier for me to work out with fractions to imperial on a vernier scale, or then to metric. I've got tapping and drilling marks on here as well to help me for checking what drill size I need to do for what tapping size. That's really quick, and obviously these things generally come as imperial, and then if I've spec'd up a template in say Lightburn, it might be in metric. I generally use Lightburn in metric, so if I've spec'd a hole in something that I've cut out and I need to then use that as a template, I'll then need a conversion to get what size this is in imperial. I have a general conversion up here. My general conversion up here it's 0.039 of a thou to 1 millimeter. So if I go beyond what's on the board, which is an inch down here, I can then easily use that and whip out my calculator and do a larger metric imperial conversion. I've also then got my metric bolts. Generally I will use metric where I can. Everything I buy nowadays is all metric. Obviously no modern new machines you buy are metric. for you guys across the pond, obviously I think you're still mixed, but again, it's, you find I've, over the period of my experience as an engineer, I end up using both. Some machines have imperial, some have metric. I try and use metric where I can. If needs be, I'll then have to reference. But this is just a quick one, quick reference. So if I grab a bolt and I'm not sure what size it is, or whether I want to check whether it's imperial, I can check whether it fits these metric ones. If it doesn't fit this, I know then straight away it's imperial, without having to mess around measuring it, find a measuring kit. This is on the wall, really easy to access. Next item is these little clamps. They are 3 layers, a positive and a negative. I am not going to take full credit to these. I will post a link down the bottom. These are from Thingiverse. I've then added a modification. These, I've created a hole through the middle on my file so that I could bolt them together. I just wanted them to be a bit more secure. And obviously then you add a couple of elastic bands to here for strength purposes. If you wanted them stronger, just add more bands. Simple as that. Really great. Again, I think I got 3 of these out of a sheet. More than likely less than £1. If they get ruined with glue, I can just laser cut some more. So really great piece of kit. Really handy for like quick glue ups like this. So if I want to glue this to here, next up, this one's for my MFT when I'm doing finishes. Quick little simple thing, look, painters risers. I use these for when I'm finishing, just to keep everything off the worktop. They're just quick slot together, and obviously then these then just recess into here. Keeps the work elevated while I finish up and oil stuff, and then it's not touching the work surface, and it helps the oil cure from underneath as well. Item number 10 on the list is this fractioning base plate. Now what fractioning base plate does is it offsets the centre of your cutter on different sides of the plate. So I'll try and explain this. This side so is 0. So I've got currently a 1/4 inch cutter in this, and if I run that along this fence on here, I get a 1/4 inch slot. Now if I then turn this to this side, this is then 1/16 bigger that way. So that then pushes the cutter 1/16 further that way. So if I then run that against this side of this fence, I then end up with a 5/16 slot. So that's slightly wider. And then again, going round again, if I add an 1/8, I then end up with a 3/8 slot. And then if I turn it again, I end up with a 7/16 slot. So it progressively makes a slot bigger without having to move a fence to make a slot wider. Obviously then this then works with different size cutters. Whether you've got then a 3/8 cutter or a 1/2 inch cutter in here, it will then all get progressively bigger. So if you've got just a certain size bit and you need to make a slot slightly wider, this is the quick way of doing it without having to make more adjustments, move things around and all the rest of it. So guys, thanks for watching. As you can see, along the journey of that, in the process, I made a board. I'm really happy with it. As you could see from some of the items I used to assist me with this, other items assist me in other ways in other projects. But I wanted to show you a journey of sort of making as well as what's helping me in the workshop. So this has two conclusions. So say I get a nice board out of this, and you guys get to see some of the items that help me with that journey along the way. I hope you guys have been enjoying this content. So this is the 5th video now that I've released. I do appreciate any of the likes, subscribes, constructive feedback and comments, all appreciated. And I hope that you'll continue my journey. I plan to release more videos. The current rate's going to be about 1 a month. I don't want to overdo it. I'm trying to set myself a realistic goal, and I hope you guys can follow along on that journey of me making, evolving, creating pieces of kit and that sort of stuff. Say you've seen from my other videos, if you say check out my workshop tour, that sort of rounds up what this series is about and hopefully gives you an idea of what direction this channel is going to head. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hey guys, I do like these outtakes. I'm just stuffing things in to see if you guys are still watching. I'm going to flip you around and give you a bit extra. There you go. That's my laser cut Allen key holder that you may have had a brief glimpse of at the beginning of the video. That's I put together with these little T-slots at the back on the I think that's a really neat trick to assemble, slot together, a couple of bolts, holds it all together, really convenient. That's the little laser cut sign that I made for myself. I think I'm going to make a larger one that possibly lights up, but for now I do like this little sign. Use some staining on there, different laser etched techniques to get different markings. So the really fine one on the tree, sort of cross hatching on there, staining, lots of little different techniques on that. And I even experimented with, look, some lin bins. Now these aren't fully refined. I was experimenting, and material thickness does vary. I think this is actually imperial. I was thinking it was 6mm. It's not actually. It's a quarter. A lot of timber got converted to the nearest metric equivalent, and it's not necessarily so. It's just for us to know roughly what size it is in metric. And the other item I played about with, but this is prototype version number 2, I think. I've got another 3rd version that's better. I might do a little video on this, on the full version. But yeah, it's a little tape dispenser. Tried to make it out of a little full A1 sheet of ply so that it could be compact and possibly posted, and sort of self-assembly kit type thing. I'll do another video on this. I think this has got a bit more legs on it for another video. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys.